What is up, sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of Pez's Picks. I'm Jeff Hartman, joined by the Super Bowl champion, Pez. Is that accurate? Would you call yourself a part of the team? I'm going to say no, but you'll probably say yes.
Jeff, for those that can't see, the eagle is flapping on my South Philly velour tuxedo, and uh, uh, of course, this is our Super Bowl. It's everyone in the Eagles Nation's Super Bowl, Jeff. We're proud. We're a loyal crowd. 2 times in my son's life, he's 11. He's seen this, and I looked at him. I said, "This could be it." He goes, "What do you mean? Don't they win it every few years? Isn't that how it works?" Fantastic generation. I'm happy for my son. He's a happy Eagles fan. There's still people complaining about Jalen, Jeff, and you couldn't have a better sports town than a town where you're still debating people. Your Super Bowl champion, MVP of the game. Isn't that good of a quarterback? I love it, Jeff. I love it. As you can hear, my voice. I got to take a 24 to 36 hour break on the Eagles' chance. I can't do it anymore. I'm starting to sound. I don't know if this is permanent or not, but what a game! What a game, huh? What a game!
Well, I do have to say that a lot of people asked me prior to the game, Jeff, who are you rooting for? And I said, honestly, I don't want either team. But I said, Pez is going to be relentless if the Eagles win, but then again, he's going to be relentless even if they lose. And then once the game started, I was rooting for the Eagles because it's like the week off. I maybe talked myself into the Chiefs being okay or whatever. No, I can't stand that team. I can't stand Patrick Mahomes. So I was pulling for the Eagles. Good for you. But can I ask you a question? You're a fan, and this is before we get into your plays and all that stuff. Can Jalen Hurts just smile? For the love of God, can he just the dude wins a Super Bowl? I understand the NFC Championship, bigger fish to fry, another game coming up. I'm not going to be too excited. This is only half of the ultimate goal. But you get it. And he's stone faced. I'm like, dude, this guy is not enjoying life.
Jeff, and we've been a Jalen supporter in Pez's Picks from day one. And, this goes back to the Carson Wentz debate. And, people were on board with that guy even more than Jalen. And I've heard a lot of debate about this week. And there are people coming around, national, broadcasters and guys, that this guy's on a Hall of Fame path. Is he traditional? If you said to me, is Joe Burrow a better passer than Jalen Hurts? Of course. I'm watching the game. People, they try to show me up. They go, well, you ever see Joe Burrow make that? Well, of course. But at the end of the day, we rate one thing, especially in gambling, wins and losses. This guy, second only Mahomes, is the biggest winner in the NFL as a quarterback since 2021, including playoffs. He's knocking on the door of one of the elite, greatest NFL Super Bowl quarterbacks in history. His numbers are shocking. Over 70% completions. First guy in NFL history, 10 rushing and 10 throwing touchdowns in the postseason. In the Super Bowl, he even steps it up. He's averaging, like 300 yards against the Chiefs. I mean, this guy has kind of changed the game, I think, a little bit. He's a thinker more than he is a pure athletic thrower and, traditional looking quarterback. So I think at the end of the day, part of his demeanor is why it's great. Patrick Mahomes, those guys were hamming it up all week. We talked about it last week. Kelsey, him, Taylor Swift, Brittany Mahomes, blah, blah, blah. You can't go into a Super Bowl that unfocused, and it showed 100%. Mahomes, he took the blame for it, and he should. Jalen Hurts cares about one thing, winning ball games. He doesn't care about all the bullshit numbers or, he's not out there, hamming it up and making commercials, and maybe that'll come now. I mean, the guy's making a lot of money and he's getting bonuses, but they said he is the same guy in the locker room, a coach's son. And I say that a lot. When you grow up with a coach as your dad, you're trained from birth to be the quarterback. That's what this guy was. And I love him, Jeff. I love there's no drama. I love he doesn't care. I love he doesn't smile. The guy's a winner. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters in this league. And as a cover of spreads, 14 covers for the Eagles this year. They blew away the Detroit Lions last year in terms of dominance, and it showed in that game. And I couldn't say anything more about Jalen. I think we got a lot of good years coming with that guy.
Yeah, you're probably right. But when this win, which you took the Eagles +1, and you've been saying, you were the only person I heard, and I was pretty glued into the coverage of the game, saying that this line was way off, that the Eagles should be spotting points. You were right on, and this capped off a really good postseason for Pez's Picks. Was it 8-2, I think?
8-2, Jeff. And, we got dialed in, and, that spread, we knew it was off. And there are times that Super Bowl spread maybe a point or two, you feel it's off a little bit. They're trying to stimulate play, and more of the money line. Things got to about even money line situation in terms of juice you're laying up. So I think they were trying to stimulate action, and I think when you can kind of catch that, you go into that game with an advantage. And we said if everybody hits their averages, the Eagles were going to blow that team out. And we took some hits last week on Pez's picks, and even Eagles fans, they told me, I don't know, it's going to be a close one, could be a field goal game. We just weren't seeing it that way. We're seeing what the game showed, and I don't see how that's changing coming forward, save for major injury guys. Our O line and D line are kind of dialed in, and we're not going to be losing these guys. And I think we're running it back, Jeff. I think we're in a position better than any team in the league to run it back next year. It's an exciting thing in Philadelphia right now.
For sure. And I will say this. You did say, if you hit the averages, your algorithm, all that stuff, that they should have been the one giving points. Fair. I don't think anyone, even you, who's a pretty big Eagles homer, not so much when you play the, you give your odds and you do your plays, but you love the Eagles more than anyone I know. And I don't think even you would have thought that they were going to blow the doors off this team the way that they did. They absolutely cruised to this victory. And I have a friend of mine who's an Eagles fan. I sent him a text the day after and said, man, you got to sit back and watch a Super Bowl relaxed. In the second half, it was over. Hell, Kenny Pickett was in. You were putting reserves in the Super Bowl. There's no way you saw that happening.
Well, we talked about it last week, Jeff, and I recorded on the call sheet with KT Smith, and our CEO, Ken, came on, and those guys had a close Eagles win. We were saying double-digit or more lead, 2-score lead by halftime. So I was shocked. I wasn't shocked at the output of the Eagles, the points they were scoring. We had them over 30 points. What was shocking was how poor the Chiefs played.
Yeah.
So we're kind of angry at the Chiefs. We want them to score some yards, Jeff. We had Kelsey catching passes. We had the Bucker, guy kicking field goals. They were awful. Patrick Mahomes was awful. He didn't seem ready to play that game. They didn't seem from the first snap a team that was kind of walking into that game having prepared properly. So was I shocked at that? Yeah. I wasn't shocked we put up over 30, and I wasn't shocked that they couldn't stop us. But, maybe it's something to think about with Mahomes. And I heard talk this week too. He's been blown out in a couple of Super Bowls. So he's great. Maybe we overestimated him, Jeff, and we're calling the shots now. Mahomes, Jalen Hurts is better than Mahomes. We're calling that shot right now, Jeff. Get the hell out of here, the Chiefs.
Like I said, he's a homer. He is a homer of all homers. But let's go over the prop plays real quick. We obviously won the Eagles pick of them getting a point. So you missed on the Butker 7.5 points. The dude had 0 points because they went for 2 every time they scored a touchdown. Travis Kelce, 70+ yards. I don't even think he had a catch. He had more drops than he had catches.
He had a few. He got to about 40, 38,
okay.
I think.
So he did have some. All right, in garbage time. You had Philly getting over 2.5 sacks. Yes. Devontae Smith, 60+ receiving yards. Yes. A.J. Brown, anytime touchdown scorer. Yes. The play that you always do, which I think if anyone doesn't listen to the podcast, you have the opening kickoff touchdown return, which was a touchback. Like that is such a long shot gamble.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. $1 play.
Exactly.
One day it's hitting. One day we're walking away with a ton of money.
Maybe. Philadelphia gets the most interceptions. That hit, and then both 33-yard field goals. Another long shot play did not pan out. Those are pretty good props. If you bet all those, you won more than you lost.
And aside from hitting the ones we hit, we were getting positive money in all of these. So if you're new to gambling, when you put $100 down on the Birds 2.5 sacks, you were getting a return when we put it out 134. So for every 100, you're getting free $34. Devontae, we were close to 70+ yards. We should have had it, Jeff. Plus 225, that would have been, but we're happy. Plus 144. So you're almost at 1.5 free money. A.J. Brown even. I don't know where this happened. How could that guy have been plus 175 to score a touchdown? You knew they were going to get that guy the ball. He had been on best behavior he's ever been in a year, but he was starting to act up a little bit, Jeff, with the stupid book thing. That guy couldn't have been smarter move. He's happy in the offseason. Genius to get him the ball. And we're getting 75 on every $100 play on that. Defense, most picks, again, plus 210. Who didn't see it, Jeff? Mahomes had nobody. His receivers stuck. Did you see DeAndre Hopkins? I'm pretty sure he purposely short-armed that ball. there must be some dispute going on there, Jeff. So 210 we were getting on that play. If you took a lot of these, you covered your losses on the couple Chiefs plays. We took a little beating last week. Why are you only taking Eagles plays? Do we love them? Yeah, but we're about making money. That's what this is all about in gambling. It was stupid of us to take any Chiefs bet. We should have known they weren't hitting their numbers. And I'm real proud we stayed away from talking about Mahomes lighting it up, or could they have run the ball, Jeff? That was Andy Reid that frustrated us here in Philadelphia. I think they had 11 runs on the game. So we should have loaded up against Chiefs plays, but we didn't want to be too abusive, Jeff. No abusive win last week. We knocked the hell out of Mahomes. I think everybody in America was proud of the face smash, whatever we want to call it. And I think we got penalized, did we? I don't even remember, Jeff. Fantastic. Well,
here's the thing. Andy Reid I feel like he didn't abandon the run. They had no choice but to abandon the run. You're down 17-0 in the blink of an eye. And then your quarterback throws another interception to Zach Bond. And now you're down 24-0. You're not running your way back into a game that way. So there goes any plays that you had for Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco out the window. The only plays, in my opinion, that would have mattered is if you had Patrick Mahomes 40+ yards rushing, which I actually think he hit that if I remember correctly. But I don't know. It was an interesting. I thought the Super Bowl itself was it was so lopsided. It wasn't even like a fourth quarter. I was helping put my kids to bed, watching on my phone. I was like, if I miss something, I'm not missing anything. The game's already over.
I mean, we were, people were passing around the start the bus pictures around, Jeff, probably in the second quarter. I mean, it just was evident that they physically were outmatched in that game. Yep. It was the offensive and defensive line situation was shocking. And, we talked about how offensive line Kansas City was the weakest thing. I mean, they stink. They couldn't block anyone. And the thing that, we love seeing the most in Philadelphia, Saquon Barkley, quiet game. When you really watch that game, when the Chiefs blitzed, and that's a great blitzing team, great blitzing defense, that defense, fantastic. Saquon Barkley had some of the greatest blocks for Jalen, staying back and to kind of help support the blitz. And, when you have your star running back blocking 350-pound guys, it was like he was hitting them, Jeff. It was something to go back and watch. And it's why that team, I mean, there was a different team this year, selfless at almost every position, and fantastic to see Saquon and Jalen kind of start this thing we got going.
So you brought this up earlier. I want to bring it up as we leave the NFL season as it's officially over, and that's a look ahead at 2025. Future plays are already out there. Pez, you made a bet that actually cashed out because you put, $25 down on the Birds, and what were your odds that you actually cashed out? I saw you put that on Instagram.
We put that out about a week after last year's Super Bowl, and it's something that I'm glad you bring this up, Jeff. My wife also had some action on that one, and those tickets you get if you're betting at a casino, people go, "Why do you do that?" Because it's fun. I'm not betting on my phone. If I'm going to go put a future in, you got to go put your cash down. Take the wife out for a dinner or something, Jeff. I'm a smart guy. I'm not just some dumb gambler sitting on my couch in my underwear. You gotta keep it classy, America. This phone gambling is crap. Go and hand some greenbacks over. That's real gambling. But anyway, neither here nor there, Jeff. So $25 February 24th last year paid us, I believe it's $495. We're getting plus 1,800. And then my wife put one in right after Saquon. Those odds only dropped to, I think, 1,400. So I didn't even see Saquon having what he had in them, and just proves to you offensive line how important it is in every offensive position. Just amazing. So we were at the casino last night. It snowed here again, Jeff. So we hit the Ocean Casino to get snowed in. They have an outdoor pool. I mean, we're making gambling memories here as a family. My son was there too, and I think it's appropriate to take your son to the casino on a snow night. I don't know if that's good parenting or not, but my kid, he knows gambling, Jeff. That kid walk around the casino. He may or may not have put some action out some dice. But when we're looking at that casino, they're getting smart. Plus 600 Eagles to win next year's Super Bowl.
That's it.
And that's it.
Are they the odds-on favorite to win it again?
They sure are. And then the Chiefs come in a close second at 650, 660. Ravens, 650. Buffalo 750. So it's kind of in Detroit Lions, and maybe the play we're going to be taking a look at. You try to estimate schedule a little bit, and that's even harder, Jeff. But plus 1,000, not a bad action right there. And I after that, I don't see teams that are going to be competitive. I don't see anybody really mixing it up. Maybe get a Washington, maybe Green Bay, but I think we got 5-6 teams that are kind of the premier teams right now, and we'll take a look at these. I'm not recommending any future action right now. 600 is not enough. I mean, that's just it's not a smart play right now. Who knows what's going to happen in the offseason?
Yeah, and there's a lot that can happen, and I know the Eagles don't have huge free agents they're gonna have to address. Zach Bond is going to be one of them that they can
It's
sign
tough.
him back.
It'll be tough.
The Chiefs actually have a lot of free agents pending. A lot of their wide receivers, which weren't any good anyways, but Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy's the only receiver under a contract that's returning, and he was on his rookie contract still. And so a lot of teams have a lot of question marks. A lot of teams can improve drastically in free agency, which doesn't start till March 10th. Is when the tampering period starts. March 12th is when those signings become official. But Pez, now that the NFL's over, are we going to look at NBA?
Well, and it was such a great NFL season. We're glad we didn't have to look at NBA, Jeff, because this league, it's been really an impossible thing to wager on the first half of the season. When we look at important numbers, we've got 2 teams that appear to be putting in a gamely effort. So I grew up in an NBA when teams were proud of trying to win over 70 games in a year. Michael Jordan, he's playing Washington on a Tuesday in February. He played as hard as he did in the NBA Finals. We're not seeing that in the NBA anymore.
No.
We got guys taking extended injury breaks. So you have to tread lightly. I think this is the halfway point coming up, All-Star Week. And then the teams, the action's going to get a little bit more consistent. We have about 8 teams that are over 50% against the spread. But when we really look at, the numbers, the scary thing, against the spread over. So a team that's covering more than they're not. So they're going to have a positive against the spread number. We've got Memphis coming in 5.5 over the spread average. That's solid. Cleveland coming in 3 over the spread. Oklahoma City 4 over the spread. So that's the best 3 teams in the league covering. But that tells you 1 or 2 baskets, you're losing those games. So NBA is a torturous thing to bet. And we're going to be dipping our toes in slowly. Of course, Cleveland's great and Oklahoma City's great. What we really like right now are the Lakers. We put that play out last week. Plus 2,000, we got it. It's down to 1,800. And I think there may be maybe one piece away from being a solid future play right now. If you can get them at 1,800, that is well worth, maybe $50 even to get about $900 return. I love that play. That's our play of the week for the NBA, and we'll start mixing in some games on Instagram in the coming days too.
All right. Now, what's coming up this weekend, though? And I'm very excited for this because with football's over, I can focus on golf. I love watching golf, and they have a signature event coming up, the Genesis Invitational. The Genesis is usually at Riviera Country Club, but it had to be moved due to the LA wildfires, and it was moved to Torrey Pines. Now, Torrey Pines, for those that are out there that don't know and don't bet on golf or follow golf, Torrey Pines has 2 golf courses, the North Course and the South Course. They were there 2 weeks ago for the Farmers Insurance Open. They played both courses. This weekend, February 13th to the 16th, they are only playing the South Course. So there's the North Course is not being in play this weekend. Past winners, Hideki Matsuyama, John Rahm, Joaquin Neiman, 2 livers there, and Max Homa in 2021. But those were all at Riviera. So I think you can kind of throw away past winners in this tournament because it's not the same golf course. Pez, I know you've looked at this. This is a signature event. So you've got Scotty, you've got Rory, you got Colin Morikawa, Jordan Spieth has an exemption, Justin Thomas. This is a full field event. This is going to be exciting. What do you think?
I mean, Torrey Pines, for people who don't know, that's a coastal course. I mean, you're playing on cliffs. You're playing with the ocean. It's a different type of golf. I think it favors Europeans and foreigners. It's a wind course. The normal hitters, of course, were the big dogs. They look great. I mean, coming into a tournament like this, I think maybe a big long shot kind of week. I mean, not to say Scheffler can't do it. We were a little proud last week, Jeff.
You were?
We said he'd have a pullback. His pullback, the guy still almost won, right? He in his standards, he was terrible, and what did he lose by like 3-4 shots? So this guy,
he shot 9 under.
It's fantastic, right? He had like one bad day. He was pissed off at himself. He was pulling it a little. Rasmus Højgaard hung in there. So I think a guy like Højgaard or somebody that's a shot maker, that's a little bit more of an iron guy. Morikawa, probably not a bad play. Crisp
Yep.
irons, and that's why Tiger was so great on this course. Guys that can hit irons accurately are going to play well. Maybe even a Glover might not be a bad play. I think he's going to be in the field. Somebody that, he played great there 2 weeks ago. It's kind of this veteran kind of, almost like a St. Andrews type of place kind of golf. Pez's Picks was there one time. We got thrown out, Jeff. We tried walking on the course. It's back in college. I was playing some soccer down there. We didn't even know what it was. We're like, whoa, this place is great. What is this, like a public park? Chased out by security. But anyway, it looked great, Jeff. That grass, it's a heavy grass. It's a grass. You can go ankle deep in that rough, so you got to hit fairways, and can't wait. Exciting golf week, and sorry for Tiger's mom. I mean, guy's had a lot of sad days, Tiger, lately. I was hoping he could play and get some magic. So hopefully for the Tigger, we get some action out of him this year.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Tiger, he just said he committed to the tournament. Then he backed out of the tournament after his mom's passing. He thought he was going to be able to play, but he just couldn't do it. I think that was a pretty sudden death in the family. I don't think it was expected. We'll put it that way. After this event, you're wondering, is he even going to play? And they're going to come to Florida. So like Arnold Palmer, like at Bay Hill, they'll have that tournament. He might not play to the Players in March. And that might be the next time he eyes returning to the field. The only reason he was playing in the Genesis was because it's his tournament. He's the host of the tournament, but he's not playing this week.
His game hasn't looked the sharpest in that, video indoor game golf simulation thing either. Their short game can't be solid right now. Yeah. I don't think he can get the reps in, and I don't, that PGA is tough. That's a course he was never great at. I can't see him playing there because you can blow up on that course. You've seen it. And Tiger's no guy that's going out there to blow up. I wouldn't be surprised if he played one of the other tournaments around that and maybe skip that one. He wants to play. It's not that the guy doesn't want to anymore, but physically, he something still doesn't look too sharp at that swing, Jeff. That guy's had too many surgeries, right? So I hope he's back out there. It's like watching Michael Jordan play basketball again.
So I want to give you my favorite and my long shot for this tournament to give people some. You mentioned Colin Morikawa. That's my favorite. And so my favorite, that line of demarcation from my Fairways and Dreams podcast is anything less than plus 2,000 odds. Colin Morikawa is plus 1,400. I like him. I think Rory's going to play well, but I don't see him winning again. He won the Pebble Beach Pro-Am 2 weeks ago. My long shot is a guy that played really well there in the Farmers, Soonjae Im at plus 3,000 odds. You talked about the foreigners playing, and he's obviously Asian descent. I think that he played well at Torrey Pines 2 weeks ago in the Farmers. He was in the top 10. I could see him playing well and maybe being a long shot play. So those are my two plays there.
That kid can play. That kid's a tough dude, right? And he's sturdy. I mean, guy's got a swing that's made for the wind. And I'm not sure whether we didn't go ahead that far yet. We should have, Jeff. We apologize. We've been partying all week for this Super Bowl. We're off our game a little bit, okay? We're to get back into it. We got to get back to life, right? So I love Jordan Spieth at plus 4,500. He's a streaky dude. He looked great last week. I mean, he was doing stupid Jordan things that are impossible. So
he looked good at Pebble and streaks, and then he just he wasn't ready to play 4 full rounds of golf. And then last week he looked like he was ready. I think he had a top 10 finish last week.
That's great. And you get him a plus 4,500. I think that's a great return for. He's got to start winning at some point. And I'm looking for my man Glover, Jeff. I don't know if you have him in there.
I don't know if he's in this field. I don't know if he qualified to play in a signature event.
Got him. Plus 12,000. Plus 12,000. It's play of the week right there. Lucas Glover. I think he was top 5 2 weeks ago. For those who don't remember, that guy hadn't won in, I don't know, since I was in high school. And he won a tournament 2 years ago. And famously, I've never seen a man sweat through his pants when he won that tournament, Jeff. It was a fantastic thing to watch. It was shockingly painful to watch. And I think he made a lot of money. I think he won two tournaments that year. And guy hits an iron as good as anyone in the world. And he's a tough dude. So plus 12,000. Wow. $10. I mean, we're looking at $1,200. That's pretty solid. That's our play of the week right there. Lucas Glover, sweaty pants or not, $10, win $1,200.
All right, that sounds great. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm not going to be torn as am I watching golf and missing something else. I'm just going to be tuned into the golf this weekend at Torrey Pines. But Pez, any final thoughts on this week before we call it a show?
Been a great year, Jeff. I mean, great year. Yeah, we'll be back. We'll have the draft soon, so it's not time to. We're still celebrating. Let's everybody have one more Eagles chant. At the end of the week, we got the parade. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna survive. I don't know. I don't know if I can go. I mean, that parade Friday. There's going to be snow on the ground too, and that's a scary situation. It snowed here. Philadelphia, South Jersey, beach has turned into it's something like Maine. We have snow for like 2 months on the ground. What happened here? I don't know. Global warming is making us colder. It's a mean thing, but we'll take it. We're tough enough.
Isn't that the opposite?
I don't know, Jeff. I don't know. We're out of. We just let it all out for the Eagles this year. We're out of gas. I don't know what's going on at this point. So Friday, be safe at that parade. Nobody climbing stupid poles. I mean, it's like the stupidest thing I've ever seen. There's nothing cool about climbing that pole. Just go have fun. Leave the poles alone. I'm tired of this pole. I watch poles falling over in my city there, and it gives me anxiety. What is this, a zombie movie? Let's calm down a little bit.
All right. Well, congratulations, Pez. Hope you enjoy it. And we'll be in touch, and we'll talk next week, man. Have fun at the parade. I know you're going to go.
All right. Go Birds.